Okay, so I've got my moves made. I am still casting Burden of Time. I could go back and undo that if I wanted to, and I thought about it seriously because it is costing me all of my gems. But I have enough gem income that I think I can manage it. And I want to do it, for one thing, I've never done it, and so I think it would be interesting to see how much of an effect it actually has, and how much chaos it actually inspires, if any. But also I want to do it because it will hurt Baratos more than anybody else, and I want Baratos. Baratos is definitely in kind of the leading position at the moment, and I would like to have them cut down just a little bit. And it doesn't hurt that it won't hurt much, and has been the closest thing to an ally I've had in this game. It will hurt me, but it won't hurt me, like, terribly, exhaustively bad. Even my pygmies are actually just as old as humans. I mean, they live as long as humans do. And my mages have very long lives. Let me see, do I have any actual normal humans left here? Yeah. Yeah, 50. My pygmies are, in fact, younger, so they will actually live longer than normal humans will under Burden of Time. So, I am abandoning Moloton. Yes, I just paid a high price to capture it, but I don't think I can hold it against this. This army is full of Seirs. It's got a Son of Azazel. It's got Dustwalkers, which means it has a Dust Priest, at least one or two. It's got Baals that are down here in this province. If he moves this army up here to retake Moloton, my whole army will be trapped and killed. And I can't have that. So my troops are falling back. I need to preserve my Lion Queens and Lion Kings because they are a very limited commodity. The Spider Clan Witch Doctors, whatever. My Boudas are launching more raids. I'm sending an assassination party to try and kill this Melkart. I'm also taking a couple other provinces. If I can knock off a lone Ami, that's a victory. I don't know why you are still moving down into Moloton. Don't do that. Move up here instead. Why don't you over there? You're not scripted to actually cast anything, so I don't need you in combat right now. I don't want you in combat right now. Just go away. So I'm going to have to fall back, retrench. I'm probably going to lose this whole chunk of territory. And I imagine I'm going to lose pretty much this whole chunk of territory. If I can hold my borders here, that would be cool. I don't know that I can. I would also definitely like to hold on to this. I've taken all the research items off of the mages that are going to be trapped in here. My Boudas are sneaking out and hitting surrounding provinces. They are going to bust in next turn, and they will slaughter all of my Voices of Lion and my Spider Clan Witch Doctors and my Hyena Clan Witch Doctor in this province. And there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, if I had kept my nature gems, I could give them nature gems and have them spam Swarm, but even that would not likely cause any actual appreciable damage. Because, I mean, they've got a Queen of Elemental Air here, they've got mainly Storm Demons, they've got a Melkart. There's nothing here that I could single out with bugs and kill. So I'm just going to let them take it. I mean, I can't stop them. The other thing that I've done is I've gone back to recruiting Boudas everywhere. Every fort I own is recruiting either Boudas or some specialist mage unit. Like, I'm still recruiting Mages of Spring here. I am actually moving these two Mages of Spring out of this province and down to Urfel. And the reason for that is I really, really want to keep them because they are my only air access, besides my god. And I can always teleport them back with Cloud Trapeze if I need to. This army is, I anticipate, going to hit me immediately. I don't really have much else I can put in there to defend, so I'm just going to have to wait and see. What I'm really hoping is that and Baratos go to war, and takes this throne and then otherwise kind of fucks off to fight up here in the north. That would be ideal. Like, this army, I would hope that this army would attack Stonegrave Mountains. I really hope it does. If so, it will take a lot of damage, and ideally it would at least badly damage this force. It will depend on how confident is in his army. This is a big army, and it's got a lot of troops in it, including a lot of Gurus, so he has a lot of magic. He might be able to take these demons, and I really hope he tries. Otherwise, I am critically short of troops in the north because my armies were wiped out, so all of my forts are spamming out pygmies. I'm spamming out pygmies because I can easily buff them with flaming arrows to make them halfway effective. And with flaming arrows, they will be effective at killing ethereal units with magic damage. So against the Storm Devils, masses of pygmies with flaming arrows are a decent idea. They're liable to get at least a couple of volleys off before routing, especially if I split them up into multiple squads that will rout independently. And they're, like I said, they're likely to be able to kill Storm Devils. And air elementals too. They can kill air elementals pretty effectively. So that's my plan. Got my research items centralized here, got more on some mages over here, and up here. I will keep shifting those around as I lose people. I'm not really recruiting research mages at the moment. My research is pretty high, and I'm pretty close to the top in a couple of places. Conjuration level 8 will of course give me Well of Misery, and then I will try to steal Well of Misery from Baratos. If I have time, which I won't have time, but I'll try to shoot for Alteration 9. And if I can get to Alteration 9 where I have like Warriors of Gold, Army of Gold, Army of Lead, then I will be able to use that to further buff my Pygmy hordes to make them hard to kill, which otherwise they're just not. So yeah, that's the plan, such as it is. We're going to face a period of getting just whooped on. That's inevitable. They're going to be hitting me from all sides. I'm going to be taking provinces back and raiding disruptively as disruptively as possible. And of course I have Burden of Time up. And I have Burden of Time up on a Bouda who isn't easy to catch. He's going to cast it and then just immediately scoot. And get somewhere near the middle of my territory where they aren't likely to be able to single him out. And cast Twiceborn to make himself even harder to deal with. The only place in my empire that I actually have to keep is Machakan itself. If I defend Machakan, I can still pump out Lion Queens and Lion Kings, and so I still have access to big Fire Mages and big Nature Mages. The Lion Queens in particular are going to be essential for a pygmy-centric army strategy, because the Lion Queens are the ones who can very easily cast Flaming Arrows. Although Lion Kings can, I believe, also cast Flaming Arrows. Certainly if I give them a Skull of Fire, they can. So, I can do it with Boudas and Lion Kings, but it's more gem intensive, and I'd rather do it with Lion Queens. So that's going to be the turn. Yeah, I'll see you next time, where we will see how bad the damage is. Oh boy, this is gonna be rough. And like I said, at this point I really don't anticipate that I'll win. I'm going to lose this throne next turn, probably this throne next turn, if not the turn after, depending on if these two fight. I'm almost certainly going to lose this throne in a couple of turns, and I'll lose this throne and this throne as soon as Hinnom and Baratos decide to go in on me. So I'm actually not likely to keep any thrones. I'll try to defend this one, and I'll try to defend this one, and this one. But beyond that, we'll see how it goes. I'm not too optimistic. I'm hoping that Hinnom and Baratos go to war in a big way. Because, I mean, obviously Baratos is going to take this throne. I can't think of why he wouldn't. And that definitely puts him at war with Hinnom. So, we'll see how it goes. If my enemies fall to infighting enough, I may be able to pull something off. Now, of course, since I'm casting Burden of Time, they may combine to try and get me off the board first, which will also be fun. I mean, like I said, I've already given up winning, so at this point, causing disruption and havoc is a big part of the modus operandi. So, thank you all so much for watching. My hopes and dreams have been shattered, but we will carry on. I will see you next time. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, late winter, turn 59. We are retrenching after our failure here. I'm going to go after things really quickly because, like I said, I'm going to try to do my turns more quickly after this point, just because there's going to be a number more turns, and a lot of them, it'll just kind of be the same thing. I am fighting a desperate defensive war, trying to lose as little territory as possible. Not all of my moves are finalized because I'm not going to go over all of my moves in excruciating detail, but there were a couple that I definitely wanted to look at. At this stage of the game, as magic becomes more and more powerful and more important, forging boosters and having access to boosters to move around to where I need them becomes more and more important. Now, being on the defensive, I have a significant advantage in that I can use the labs to effectively teleport boosters between my forts at will. So, for example, up here I'm under siege by a large army, 200 units. Lamias, living statues, griffins, urguards, and vine men, led by an Enkidu shaman, and doubtless including a number of other mages. Now, at first blush, this doesn't look very promising because I don't have many units in here. I mean, I have units, but they're mainly crap. I've got some vine men, I've got a whole bunch of pygmies, I've got a line of just garbage infantry, a few shades, and a gang of skeleton or long-dead archers with their banefire bows. However, I have a whole bunch of mages, and I have a whole bunch of boosters. So I'm trying something. This is risky. I've never done this particular combination of spells before, but I think it might be useful. I'm being attacked by this army. I'm sure they're assaulting me next turn, like they have to pretty much. Also, Ur's god is besieging this fortress. Don't have anything to really scare him off with just yet. If I can concentrate a few Buddhas down there, I could try to kill him with Banefire, so that's always an option. But up here, this battle will be interesting. I have all these guys casting Spirit Mastery, which summons a whole bunch of ghosts. They're absolute garbage, except they're ethereal, and they have a paralyzing attack that, paralyzes people that they hit. I'm doing this because I thought, well, I've just cast Burden of Time. See here, so Burden of Time is up. Units are suffering badly from the Burden of Time, including 12 of our own, but that'll be okay. So I am officially now the evil, right? So I'm deploying what I'm going to refer to as Apocalypse magic in this battle. I've got one guy casting Darkness. He's using my Robe of the Magi that I captured. This is super, super risky. If I lose this Robe of the Magi, I may not be able to recast Burden of Time. But at this point, I'm just kind of having fun with the game and experimenting with stuff, so I wanted to see how well this would work out. So, Babu, the Hyena Clan Witch Doctor, is casting Burden of Time. He also has 5 Reinvigoration, and I don't quite know from what... Oh, from the Robe of the Magi. It gives you Reinvigoration. Oh, that's fascinating. I may actually want to shift this. I may want to give the Robe of the Magi to my Bouda instead, because I have a Bouda here. Just one. Because he's less likely to die. Because he has more hit points, and he will change into Were-Hyena form if he dies. So yeah, I think I'll probably actually shift this around and have... Well, but Mukhtar is the only one who can cast Flaming Arrows. I'll keep it where it is. So what I'm doing is, I'm casting Darkness, which gives everybody except blind beings and beings with Spirit Sight or Perfect Dark Vision a big penalty to everything. So that will be everything except my undead and his living statues. I'm casting Rigor Mortis, which undead and inanimates aren't affected by this, which means his living statues won't be, but everything else in his army will be. Whereas my army is going to largely compose of the undead that are not affected. And I'm going to cast Horde of Skeletons if and when these guys wake up, so I'll be summoning yet more undead. My little nature mages are spamming Swarm, so they're summoning just huge quantities of garbage to just absolutely surround me. Basically, my strategy here is I'm going to chaff as hard as possible. I'm going to cast Flaming Arrows so that my pygmies will do as much damage as possible. I'm going to chaff, just generate chaff as hard as I can. I've got my Banes up front. They won't be affected by Rigor Mortis, and they have the capacity to actually do damage, assuming they live, which is, of course, definitely an assumption. Against the Enkidu, they may well not, but if they're surrounded by enough chaff, they might, especially because the Enkidu will be getting exhausted and the Banes will not. So my goal here is I want to run out the clock, and I want my Banes, I actually want the Banes a little further back, maybe, so they aren't reached as quickly. If all goes well, what will happen is my chaff will prevent his griffins, his flying units, from getting to my mages in time, I'll get my big spells off, everything will go dark, so most of the troops on all sides will not be fighting very effectively. Rigor Mortis will exhaust his troops, and they'll start to fall unconscious in, on average, 20 rounds. This includes, of course, his mages, and my mages. So all our mages will start to go unconscious, but the Banes won't, the Undead won't, and the Spirits won't, and the Spirits will provide extra layers of chaff by paralyzing his units. If I can run the clock out, his army will retreat. That's kind of the goal. And of course, since all of my important mages have earth magic, they will be reinvigorating themselves. And whoever's wearing the robe of the Magi will be reinvigorating even more. So they should be okay. His troops hopefully will not be okay. That's the goal. I don't know whether this is going to work. In fact, odds are probably against it, depending on exactly how many mages he has. If he has like a bunch of air random Gudus, and he's got a strategy set up where he's going to spam Thunderstrike on me, then I may well, this probably won't function effectively because my troops will get stunned and it won't be effective. But I'm gonna try it. I just want to see if it can work. I feel like the swarms are what gives me the best chance because they will just surround me. I mean, every single one of these nature gems is going to spawn 20 bugs. So the first round, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the first round I'm going to spawn 140 random bugs. And it's only going to get more from there. Also, casting all the Spirit Masteries here will, no, cast Spirit Mastery, please. They're going to give me another about 50 ghosts that will just kind of show up in the middle here, where my mages are. So, I feel like I've got a shot. I'm going to try it at least. The fact that his army contains a significant contingent of living statues is actually the fly in the ointment, because the living statues are inanimate and I believe they have spirit sight. Let me actually double check that. Yeah, living statues are lifeless and have spirit sight, so Rigor Mortis won't affect them, and the darkness won't affect them. So they will remain effective, but that said, living statues do not kill very quickly, and if they're left without magical leadership, they'll fall apart. So, hopefully, and Lamias are neither. Lamias are not inanimate and do not have spirit sight, so the Lamias, the Griffins, the Urgards, and the Vine Men will all be disabled fairly rapidly by the combination of darkness and rigor mortis. I've also got this guy summoning some air elementals because they'll fly into the back lines and be a distraction. At least I hope they will. He can only summon about 2 because that's all the air gems I had. So that up there hopefully will go pretty well. Ideally, I won't lose the Robe of the Magi. I might lose the Robe of the Magi. If I win and Babu lives, I'll get to keep it. If I win and Babu dies, I might lose it. If I lose and Babu dies, then of course I will obviously lose it. But I feel like this is worth trying. I know it's a gamble, but everything is a gamble at this point. I don't have any non-gambling options. I guess the least gambly option would be to keep the Robe of the Magi out, but that would mean giving up darkness. And if I want to have a shot at winning this, I have to reduce the effectiveness of his troops as much as possible, because a lot of it is it's going to depend on my troops buying as much time as possible for rigor mortis to go into effect. And without that, I just won't win. It's not possible. Especially because, I mean, I imagine he's scripted Relief. He's probably also scripted Howl. It depends. It will depend on how... It depends on how much danger he anticipates here. If he's scripted Relief and Howl, then probably all of this is useless. Well, Howl actually wouldn't hurt me that much, because I have all the ghosts that are ethereal. And with the Rigor Mortis in effect, Rigor Mortis does outpace Relief on average, but it's slow. Much slower than it would be without it. But the wolves won't hurt me very much, probably, so I don't know. I think it's really a coin toss. His Great Bull can't actually hurt my walls here. I have enough siege defense from my dudes inside that he can't do anything. I can't recruit here while he's there, however, so... What death spells can I cast? I can't even cast Hand of Death. I could cast Weakness. I could send these guys out and just spam Weakness at him mercilessly. That would be kind of hilarious. I could spam Weakness, and Decay. What's the, That's not even magic resistance negates, that just happens. He's a trampler, so he doesn't really care about having low strength. Okay, so... Okay, so the Great White Bull has... Magic Resistance 18. Magic Resistance rolls are made against 12. It's 2d6 is the Dominion's random number with exploding 6s. If I were to spam Decay enough times, I probably could decay him. Might be worth trying. There's not honestly much risk to it. I mean, at worst, what happens? I lose a Revenant. Or I lose some Revenants, and honestly, Revenants don't matter much. I'll keep him researching. These two I'm going to break the siege with, because it's just the Great White Bull. And I'm going to script him to spam Weakness 5 times. What's the range on Weakness? 25. And I'm going to script him to spam Decay 5 times. Decay won't kill a Great White Bull, but it might accomplish something. And then I'm going to tell them both to retreat. So they will ideally retreat to the fortress. I'm going to put them right there, right like that. And then they can't lead magic beings, so they can't take the terracotta soldiers out. But what I will do is I'll take out 15 pygmies. They have 15 hit points. The pygmies have 4 hit points each, so 15 times 4 is 60. They have 30. Yes, even if the pygmies all die, it won't stop them. So, 15 pygmies. We're gonna have these two guys right there. Like that, so they can't be trampled both at once. They're gonna cast their 5 spells, and then they're going to retreat. They should retreat right back into the fortress. I might lose 15 pygmies. I might lose one or both of them. But in any case, it won't be a terribly big loss. If this army moves right in, then I will most definitely lose both of them. But we'll see. That's very possible. But it's worth trying just for a chance to put some hurt on the Great White Bull. I think, anyway. Obviously, he can retreat into his own dominion. Actually, this is his dominion, so the Gift of Health is active here. Ooh, I hadn't considered that. The Gift of Health is active here. Interesting. Although that's a cold dominion. His dominion is not cold. Ur's dominion is not cold, so whose dominion is this? Is this still Niflheim's dominion? It must be. That's still Niflheim's dominion. Oh yeah, because I've been in there with my heretic mages all this time. So yeah, this is Niflheim's dominion, so he doesn't have the Gift of Health here. I think he does have the Gift of Health here, even though no scales are really visible. Oh, well, I can just see it that way, of course. Yeah, Bull of the North's dominion. Oh no, this is Bull of the North's dominion. Okay, darn. Yeah, he's been pushing his dominion into me pretty hard. That's Gallothal's dominion. Okay. Okay, so the Gift of Health is active in both of these areas. That's fine. Gift of Health doesn't reinvigorate in battle, so this should still probably work. Okay, so there's lots of other moves going on. I'm doing a little bit more raiding. I need to move these guys. Actually, I haven't given them orders to move yet. I'm just going to be raiding with them or retreating in order to get back into my own territory and prepare to defend. I'm going to have to defend this pretty quickly. So actually, I think what I'm probably going to do is have them, no, hide. Why are you moving? Oh, because Kipanga has these guys. Yeah, don't do that. Just, actually, you moving is fine. Yeah, take them with you. Do that. Bavwal has 2 bottles of water and he only needs 1, so I should distribute those a little better. He killed another scout and stole another bottle of living water, so thank you, Agulad, for giving me all of these water elementals. So Bavwal should go back over there. One of these who doesn't have one will pick that up. These 3 guys, let me see. What will I do with them? I think I will probably besiege that castle for the moment. Wana, can you go over there? Could hit that province, but I feel like that's what he's expecting me to do, so instead I will sneak into that province. Oh, by the way, I killed a Melkart. Where was it? Lilithor, I think. Yeah, this Melkart died. I don't actually know why this Melkart died. He was ungeared, and on the battle map, when I watched, it showed him retreating. But the battle summary is what actually matters, because this shows the results of the calculations that were performed, and this Melkart died. So, he's gone. These were-hyenas spammed out some skeletons, threw some Banefire, and then spammed more skeletons and undead. And he actually routed. And it looked to me like he got off the battlefield fine in the battle replay, but he's dead. So I've killed a Melkart. Great. That was what I was hoping for. So that's going to be the turn, basically. I'll move these guys around still. Musin. Try to move into Baratian territory and take some of their provinces out, please. But in any case, that's going to be the turn, and I'll see you next time. Alright, once more Under the Breach, turn 60. A ton of things happened this turn, and will continue happening every turn thereafter, so we'll go over them only very, very briefly. Whole bunch of summons. Kibwana survived a mental attack, and then was mentally attacked by another mage and killed. A scout was also killed by an enemy mage. These are astral spells called, I think it's Mind Hunt, that they're using, which basically lets an astral mage cast Soul Slay, which is an instant kill spell, at range. The way you counteract this is by having astral mages of your own in the province, in which case they have a chance to just instantly feeble mind whoever tries to mind hunt anybody in that province. Unfortunately, it's not possible to do that with my Boudas scattered around attacking people. So this is essentially Hinnomite anti-raiding tactics is what's going on here. He's got sages sitting back in his fortresses casting Mind Hunt, with spending Astral Pearls to cast Mind Hunt, and insta-killing whoever it is that they manage to hit. It's not reliable, but it is something they can do. I'm leaving some Boudas just kind of sitting around in stealth. This guy might die next turn. Agartha has started opportunistically attacking provinces with scouts in order to take them over and deny Hinnom the income, which, cool, I'm down with it. I don't think he has much more than that left, to be honest. I mean, I'm looking, I'm like, he doesn't have any provinces left that I can see. Maybe he has a couple over here or something. But in any case, he's doing that. Baratos, interestingly, Baratos moved away just as this Hinnomite army came in on this throne to besiege my fortress, which, fair enough. Stonegrave Mountains fell this turn. The battle that I was interested in Stonegrave, in Giant's Rest. Let's see how that went. It didn't go as I had hoped, but so I have, if you'll recall, I had all these ghost summons, I had people casting all kinds of spells, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. My hope was that I would be able to basically fatigue out the enemy army and kill them that way. And that would work on Lamia's. Unfortunately, he has a ton of living statues and a ton of Dustwalkers. And Dustwalkers don't get tired, and living statues don't get tired. They're inanimate. And so fatigue doesn't affect them, especially the fatigue-causing spells don't affect them. Like Rigor Mortis, for example, specifically affects only living units. So, on top of that, we're just going to fast forward real quick because a ton of stuff happens. I was able to generate a lot of chaff, but not quite enough chaff. So I massacred his griffins, which was kind of expected. And I killed a whole bunch of... He cast Howl and Relief, which also hurts me. So we all threw up our spells. He cast Rain to stop me from using fire spells. He cast Relief to increase his own reinvigoration. And he cast Howl to summon wolves to distract my troops, which they did very, very effectively. I cast Rigor Mortis to cause fatigue to everyone on the battlefield, and Darkness to buff my undead. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get out many undead. My pygmies were actually hurt more, I think, by Rigor Mortis than anybody. My Banes were up here causing havoc for some time, but overall, with the relief going on, some of his Lamias and stuff fatigued out, but a lot of them didn't. That Urgard fatigued out and probably isn't coming back. So the Rigor Mortis was effective, it just wasn't effective enough because a lot of his stuff is, well, is unaffected. So we held him off for a while. It worked out to an extent, but my mages fatigued out, and my pygmies fatigued out and or routed. And my undead did not come in large enough numbers to turn the tide of the battle. In the back, his mages did start to fatigue out by the end, and in fact, over the course of this battle, I did manage to kill some of his mages. A couple of them, but just not enough. It just wasn't sufficient and wasn't reliable enough to turn the tide. So my skeletons managed to hold him off for quite some time here, because they're skeletons. And these Dustwalkers actually did start accumulating fatigue and stuff, but even so, eventually, the Rigor Mortis stopped when the guy who cast it died or routed, I'm not sure which, and then the darkness stopped, and then it was all over but the Cryan. He's also cast Barkskin on his Darkwalkers, on his Duskwalkers, I think? No. They're fire resistant. No, he's cast Regeneration on them. Huh. So, that was it. It was all over at that point. So, I did get some kills. I killed 2 of his Gurus, which was really, really good. The Gurus did most of the damage to me. I killed a couple of Duskwalkers. I killed all of his Griffins, also solid, and a few Lamias, but not enough. It just wasn't enough. My pygmies got a ton of kills, but most of those kills were, I think, wolves or summoned units or something. Because he only lost 49 permanent units, and I killed like 200 units overall. So it was a good effort. It wasn't enough. That's okay. I kind of expected that. In Molaton, Hinnom rolled over my small pathetic defense that I had left because I'd snuck everybody out. They caused significant friendly fire with their armies, which is satisfying to me, but not terribly useful. Estenofia, I'm just raiding here as best I can. My strategy at this point is just kind of try and stay alive, which is difficult when I'm being eaten from all sides like this. Funny guy, I need to get rid of this mute, because it's killing his magic. So what I'm doing is, I am having him cast Manifest Vitriol, which is a great little summon spell that summons ethereal acid bolt spitting lions. And he'll be doing that for a little while I gather Blood Slaves, because there is actually a way to get rid of afflictions. If I can get him up to Blood level 2, he can cast a spell called Blood Feast, which is Blood level 3, which I can hit in 1 turn, no problem. And Blood Feast fixes afflictions. I'm scattering my research force a little bit. I'm moving them to my different provinces here. I'm recruiting Hyena Clan Witch Doctors to heal diseases, which will be vital. And I have a whole bunch of people blood hunting in addition to Katibu should have been blood hunting. I already submitted this turn. Shit. I told him to blood hunt. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, so that kind of throws things in the shitter a little bit, actually. I was thinking that I would have gotten a bunch of blood slaves from Katibu because he's blood level 3, so he always succeeds. Crap! Okay, fine. I'll deal with that later. This fortress is under siege, but it doesn't have anything in it except Otto, who can sneak out. I'm spamming out pygmies as defensive measures. I'm just going to kind of try to hold on to what's important and raid in other locations, insofar as I can. Raiding Hinnom Very, very dangerous. Raiding Baratos, also dangerous because he can cloud trapeze Stormcallers on top of me. So I have to worry about that. But over here, I think I have a pretty good shot of holding on for a while with all of my Astral Magic and my 3 forts. Here, this is going to be tricky because there's a lot of units right around there, and they might be able to break in here. I think I can probably hold the capital. I think I can probably hold the capital for a while. But that's going to basically be the turn. I'm going to be manifesting Vitriol, blood hunting, hopefully building up enough blood slaves to empower him, maybe forge a booster or two with Katibu if I can empower Katibu again or something, and get him up to, it'll have to be effectively blood 4 in order to overwhelm the halving effect, because that does affect boosters as well. But if I can get him up to level 2 blood, effectively he'll be able to cast Blood Feast and unmute himself, at which point I'll be back in the game with Funny Guy at least, because he'll be an extremely powerful mage again. So, that's this turn, and we'll see you in turn 61.